All right, second graders, we're going to read the second part of the Slow Eater Tiny Bite Taker Cure. All right, here we go. Then Alan's mother called Patsy's mother. She said, "Does Patsy eat everything that is put in front of her quickly and without urging?" Patsy's mother said, "Well, yes, she does. Why?" Alan's mother said, "Because Alan has taken to eating like a scared mosquito, and I don't know what to do." Patsy's mother said, "Call Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle. She'll know what to do. Remember the radish cure, don't you?" Alan's mother was delighted. She said, "Oh, of course I do, and I'll call Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle right away." And she did. Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle said, "So Alan has become a slow eater, tiny bite taker, has he? I thought he looked a little pale this afternoon." Alan's mother said, "He is so pale his father calls him the little doughboy. And I know he hasn't eaten more than a tablespoon of food in the last 2 days." "What will I do, Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle?" Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle said, "Don't worry about Alan. He'll be all right again in a day or two. Let me see. It is Alan coming down the street right now. So I'll send him home with the slow eater, tiny bite taker dishes. Use the largest set for Alan's dinner tonight, the medium size for his meals tomorrow, and the small size for the next day, and the very small dishes for the last day. Serve him portions of food that fit the dishes. That will be 4 days in all, counting today. And though he might lose some weight, he will gain it right back. I may send him on the last day, and no matter how he feels, let him come to my house." Alan's mother said, "Thank you very much, Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle. I will do just as you say, and I'll be happy when he is cured. I will send Alan right away home with the dishes," said Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle. "Now don't worry. Simply follow my instructions," said Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle, and she said goodbye. After a little while, Alan came home carrying a large wicker basket. "Here's a present from Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle, mother," and she said for me to be very careful with it. He set the basket on the kitchen floor and commenced to undo and unfasten things. His mother said, "No, dear, this is not a present for me, and I think I'll just put it aside for now. You run out and play until dinner. Goodness, you are pale. Run as fast as you can down to Patsy's house. Put some roses in your cheeks." Alan's mother put a basket on top of the shelf at the kitchen and shut the cupboard door, which left nothing for Alan to do but go outside and play. However, instead of running down to Patsy's, he walked very, very slowly. He was tired from not having eaten enough today. Just before dinner, Alan's mother took down the basket and opened it. There were four little sets of dishes. The largest set had a plate the size of a saucer, a cup like a small after dinner coffee cup, a small fork, and a little spoon. The medium sized plate was like a doll plate, a doll cup, and a very small sized fork and spoon. The small sized plate had a plate the size of a silver dollar, a cup the size of a thimble, and the fork to match, and spoon like a salt spoon. The tiny sized plate was a plate size of a penny, and the cup would but hold a drop, and the fork like a needle, and the spoon like a pin. Alan's dinner that night was served on the large set. He had given he was given a baked potato small enough as an egg, and a piece of meat like a postage stamp, a slice of tomato, and a cup of milk, very small cup of milk. Alan was so interested in taking tiny bites that he didn't even notice the new dishes. He ate 1/3 of the potato, 1/6 of the meat, one tomato seed, and drank about half a cup of milk. Then he asked to be excused. His father looked at his saucer plate was still heaped of food and started to say no, but Alan's mother quickly said, "Yes, dear, you may be excused, but you must play in your room until bedtime." The next morning, his mother put a teaspoon of scrambled eggs and an inch piece of toast on a medium sized plate and a tablespoon of orange juice in a doll cup. Alan loved the tiny fork and the spoon because he was able to take such tiny bites. That in 1 hour, and he had eaten about half an egg and 1/3 of toast. He did drink all the orange juice. At lunch and dinner, he even ate less and took even smaller bites. He had turned very pale green and was so tired that he had to sit down all the time. The next day, his mother brought out the small dishes. On the dollar plate, she put 3 cornflakes and a piece of bacon the size of a snowflake, and then the quarter of an egg, a quarter of a teaspoon of an egg. In the thimble cup, she put 10 drops of cocoa. Alan was so tired that he had to crawl into the breakfast on his hands and knees. He was happy about the tiny dishes, though, and gave his mother a very sickly addition of a shiny smile. He cut the cornflakes into 13 pieces and ate a part of one. He ate a speck of egg and a nibble of bacon and 5 drops of cocoa, and then crawled in and laid on the couch. For lunch, he had 7 drops of soup, 2 cracker crumbs, and enough milk to barely moisten his lips. All right, so we're going to stop there. Alan is probably a little bit hungry, so make a prediction about what's going to happen next, and I'll see you next time.